All right, so I promised it to you guys that the next episode would be firing our AK-47 that we so lovingly and carefully imported into our Unreal Engine because it's such a beautiful model and I love the textures and it was free and it was actually one of the better guns that I could find that had good ADS, good iron sights and stuff. So let's get firing, shall we? So we're going to go over to blueprints, and I'm gonna create a new normal actor blueprint, and this is going to be our bullet because we need a bullet. Obviously, because we need something that's projectile, something that's going to move. So this is just going to be our bullet. I may add a model later, but as of now, we're going to just have a capsule as bleh, can't speak as our model. Uh, that is, if I could find a capsule. I can't because I'm trying to do the wrong thing. Okay, so that's going to be our bullet. Now I believe we leave it upright. You're like, no, we need to put it to the side because it's going to be shooting this way, not up and down. Well, you're right. It is going to be shooting from side to side, but when we spawn it in, it's probably going to spawn like that. So we'll fix it as it goes. But we need to add a very important component to this. Well, projectile movement, because it's a projectile and we need it to move. So obviously, this is going to automatically activate the second it's spawned in. So make sure auto activate's turned on. It should be by default, of course, but we've got some settings here, and some of these can be a little what's the word? Yeah, intimidating. If you haven't messed around with this, it can be intimidating. And a lot of this, we don't really need to mess around with the settings for a lot of this. But we just need to give it a good initial speed. And I found that 1500 is a good initial speed. That is also dependent on your world scale. If you have a very small world, you're going to want a much smaller speed for a normal bullet. We're not going to do something like a matrix slower bullet or a super fast like insta kill sniper bullet. We're just going to do a normal bullet for, I guess, what you would think would come out of AK-47. Now, if you can look it up, there is ways to, if you know the actual bullet speed of this real world weapon, I've heard and I've seen it been done. There are ways to translate real world bullet speeds into projectile movement based off of your scale. It's too much, but you can do it. It's awesome. It's super realistic, and it's only for high-end enthusiasts who are trying to do something that's high-end realism. But we're just making a game. You guys can do that if you want. So max speed, you can set that to whatever. I'm going to set it to 2000 in case it wants to build some momentum. And is rotated. What? I don't even know. Anyways, just keep it normal gravity. Really, this doesn't actually really need too much gravity. We're gonna add like zero point 0.1 gravity to it so it has a little bit of slope to it, but everything else is pretty much fine. We don't need anything except for what I've done. So now we're going to actually make the blueprint for the weapon. So make another actor, and we are going to call this, call it weapon underscore, you don't have to do the underscore, weapon base. So this is our base weapon. This is what all the child weapons are going to be under, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's going to be all cool, but it's going to help for universalizing if you want it's a template. That's the easy way to say it. It's a template for weapons. So you just say, well, I want an RPG. Well, you make a child of the weapon base, but you change the model, you change the variables in it, and I'll show you how to do it. There will be more advanced videos further on the series on how to make on how to use our weapon-based system. So inside this, we're going to need, obviously, a skeletal mesh, and I'm going to copy the scale of what our gun is here. So our gun looks to be about that. So that's what we're going to have it at. um, oh no, sorry, unlock that. Okay. So now they're all the same scale, and we're going to import this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's find what way in the world is in our characters forward. So in our character, it looks like Y is forward here. Yeah, it looks like Y is forward. Same thing here. So on the muzzle, which we don't actually have a socket for the muzzle on this, you can... Hello? Oh, I can't look at that. Sorry. Psh, I'm trying to... Oh, man. I am smart. We need to be in here. And we need to create a custom event called fire. So this is on our fire, and so we're going to spawn actor from class. So this is going to be bullet spawn transform. Now that's going to be something else. And the collision handle, just always spawn, ignore collisions, everything else, that's fine. But we need to get socket transform on the skeletal mesh. So you want the you're going to want to list, sorry, I'm running out of my vocabulary right now. You're going to want the list of sockets. Now over here, we don't actually have a socket for it. We don't have any sockets. We only have safety, we've got the magazine, the bolt carrier. We don't have actually anything that will provide as a muzzle socket. So what you're going to want to do is create a muzzle socket, and that simply is what is a... Bleh. I'm running out of vocabulary. Give me a break. I am not completely awake today. Just right click on AKM and add a socket. So call it muzzle. I don't know if I spelled that right. But place that right at the muzzle. You can place it in the muzzle, you can place it out of the muzzle. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's obviously at the muzzle, so that way, obviously that's where it's going to be spawning. So I'm going to place it slightly outside of the muzzle. That looks about good. And over back at the weapon base, since that's the only socket we have, you have to manually type it in, but it's okay. Just type in muzzle. Real time, you don't want real-time world. I believe you actually want real-time component. I love it how it's like, I said real-time, but I think that's because you want the component. But I'll mess around with that if that is wrong. So that's how we're going to spawn the bullet. But now we need to be able to fire the bullet from our character. So over here, we're going to do a couple things so that way we get the gun, the actual blueprint, and not just the model that we have, and B, so that way we can fire it. So on begin play, once again, spawn actor from class, but this time we are going to do base weapon base. And we are going to get socket transform for the get object transform. Sorry, just type in gun, and yes, relative transform for the gun. And so that will allow it to spawn where we have our gun model, because our gun model is already where we want it to be. And that is going to be absolutely perfect because we don't have to mess around with adding socket transform to the hand and then messing around adding and subtracting from translation values and all that mess. Just make it get the relative transform of the gun. One of the other benefits, not just visuals, but also just allows for shortcuts. Obviously, always spawn ignore collisions for this because I don't think that this is going to have collisions even. Yeah, we didn't put collisions on it, but I'm gonna save everything up. It should auto compile everything, but I guess it didn't. And that's all we need for now for event begin play. But on left click mouse or left mouse button, I guess, we need to gonna also add a variable. We're gonna add a variable called equipped weapon, and this is going to be what our weapon is. So we're gonna call it. It's just gonna be an actor, but it'll change depending on what we do. So we need to set equipped weapon to that. And if that's not right, then set it to base weapon. So yeah, either way, we're going to get our equipped weapon, and we need to actually, nope, it does. It needs to be base. Can't spell. That's fun. It actually does need to be weapon base. Change variable, but it'll be fine. Don't worry about the indexing because I'm not going to. And then we need to get or fire. We're going to call that custom event. And this is going to tick once, this is going to tick every time we fire. So every time it's held down, it should fire. So obviously it's just going to spam fire and fire and fire and fire, because if we're just holding it down, there's no delay between the bullets or the firing speed, that is. So I'll show that to you, and obviously once it's released it's going to stop firing. But let's crash. Okay, that's fun. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and I put everything back to the way it was, because obviously some stuff didn't save. And now we're going to test out what I was talking about, the whole firing thing. So that's fun. Oh my god. What the heck? Bro. Oh my gosh. How did this happen? I'm gonna fix this, and I'll be right back. So here's part of my mistake, since it's been a while since I've done this. Sorry. You need to make a socket on your left, or on your right hand, I meant. I don't know why I keep wanting to say left hand. You need to make a socket on your right hand. And if I could find that, that'd be fun. Okay, there we go. You need to add a socket and just call it gun. That's the easiest thing to do. And add a preview mesh to that. So we're gonna do the same kind of thing. I'm gonna skip the aligning process and all of that because you guys have already seen it, but we are going to add a preview mesh to it, and it'll make our lives once again a whole lot easier. And that did not do things right. Oops. Either way, it'll make our lives a whole lot easier. Hey, don't do what I did. Make sure it scales up the right way. It's not uniform scaling? Why? That's weird. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. There we go. Yeah, we need more like 100. Anyways, you guys get the scaling down and everything, and I'll be right back with you once you guys have done that, once I have done that. Real quick trick, if you guys remember, we had all those values in here. If you literally copy every single value right here that you have on your gun and paste it into here, no joke, makes your life so much easier, and it puts it right back where you were, and it has it perfect. So now over to the rest of what we're going to do to make everything right. Okay, so you get to see my screen recorder because I'm really lazy right now. Either way, I got everything fixed. It was a pain in the butt process, but I got the bullets working, they were broken. I got the spawning and everything working, that was broken. So we're going to go over everything, and you will have something looking like this. Of course, you can change the bullet size, bullet speed, and sweet. And it'll push you because it's a collision object. Anyways, so on the gun, make its relative scale what you had at 104, what we had it at 104.69, and of course all the other stuff is fine. A lot of this is all pretty much about scale, what we're talking about here when we're spawning in the gun. And on the bro dude, event begin play, spawn actor weapon base, just make a transform and leave it all blank. And just, leave it all by the defaults. Equip, set equip weapon. Yeah, it goes to set equip weapon. Now, right click and attach actor to component. And of course, attach the exe. That's what I call it. I don't know what exec means. Execute, I guess. Attach the executor. And attach target to equipped weapon and to return value. Parent will be mesh. Socket will be gun. Snap to target including scale. And that is good. Now, once again, we had the left button is fire, and that's calling this. And on this, which obviously I wanted to go to, we want, of course, to spawn transform to the muzzle socket from the skeletal mesh, RTS world, and I print string hello, just see if it was actually firing, and it was. And now that I see the bullets, I don't really need it. And last but not least, the bullet wasn't firing properly. So rotation needs to be -90, Y 0, and Z rotation will be 90. Put the scale at whatever you want. I mean, obviously we're gonna want a much smaller scale because, I mean, you could see it. It was pretty big. So I'll do 0.2 across the board. And on the static mesh, do not uncheck enable gravity. And on projectile movement, do whatever the initial speed you want. I'll do 250 because I think 1,500 was for the other project. Velocity needs to be Y1. The X needs to be 0 on velocity. Z needs to be 0 on velocity. And everything else you can leave just fine, except for rotation follows velocity. And I believe this is automatically checked, but initial velocity and local space needs to be checked. Other than that, that's all you need. I'm just going to save everything up, press play, and now we've got our bullets firing. And obviously they don't it doesn't rapid fire, but they for some reason don't collide with the world or anything, but we'll get those collisions all sorted out proper. And I'm gonna shrink the bullet even more and increase the size or increase the speed of the projectile. But yeah, I hope that helped all of you with your endeavors on firing and making a bullet. We'll get into more in-depth stuff later on, but other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, subscribe would be appreciated, like would be appreciated, all of that. It'd be super awesome. And if you guys want to check out some of my other videos that I've got gaming, I've got other stuff, including other FPS tutorials. It's an old series, but you can still check that out. I've got an RPG series that I'm continuing. And this is gonna in the next episode, we're going to focus on gun mechanics and aiming. We're going to focus specifically on aiming, and that's what will the whole episode will be about. Nothing too dramatic should take place. Super short episode, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.